Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel, and welcome to the sort of video that we don't feature too often on this channel, and it's going to basically look at a dirty driver. Now this is the hero of our story, or the anti-hero of our story. I don't know what's the best way to put it. The star of our story. His name is Tony Building 87. He is Italian. That's his PSN name. You'll see what his nickname is in just a little minute, because it is the replay footage that we're going to be looking at. And I want to consider this video to Tony as a little bit of an intervention, because maybe Tony doesn't realise that he is such a dirty driver. Maybe he thinks everything is legitimate here. But yeah, I had a couple of instances with this driver during this race, and then when I kind of watched back the replay, I was kind of amazed at just how many little instances he was involved in. So coming into turn 1 here, it's this week's daily race C, by the way. It's the CLK Cup at Deep Forest Raceway. You can see coming into turn 1 there that our man Demolition 87 happens to be his nickname. I don't know if the 87 stands for how many demolition moments he tries to get through per race, but yeah, it seems fairly apt for this driver. So yeah, into turn 1. No, if that was, you didn't know, if I didn't know what this driver is going to do over the course of the rest of this race, you'd maybe think that's just somebody who's missed their breaking point, no big deal. But given what you're about to see unfold over the rest of this video, I think it's safe to say that that was an attempt to pass the P4 driver into turn 1 with a little bit of a bump past that Demolition got a little bit wrong. Now, he's picked up a half-second penalty here, as you're about to see. He's going to serve that half-second penalty. Couple of cars are going to go past him, but Demolition decides he doesn't want to lose 2 positions to that penalty, he just wants to lose 1. So he's going to give that driver a little bit of a tap there. Now, nothing too bad in that one, I think it's fair to say, but he definitely went into that corner with the intention of getting that position back, I think it's fair to say. And he's now going to be battling with Dante here down into turn 1 as we start lap number 2. So a little touch on Dante there, and a little touch there, and then a little bit of a squeeze. Well, not quite so much of a squeeze at the apex, but yeah, a couple of touches there from Demolition to secure that position off Dante. Coming into the hairpin here at the end of lap 3, we are behind the driver they actually went for the move on into turn 1. But I think the action is going to be behind this one. He's got Jim Brea behind him, very, very fast driver. Jim Brea in the slipstream, going to move out, and Demolition is going to go for the classic react to the move from the other driver and bump him that way so he cannot complete the overtake. And coming up here to turn 2, going to be some shenanigans here. Now Jim Brea very wisely probably realises that this driver is going to give him no room into that corner. It's going to be in a barrier. But yeah, Demolition again just showing that he is not going to give an inch at any point in this race. So far there's been a couple of minor incidents, I think it'd be fair to say, nothing severely bad. The kind of block on the driver, Jim Brea, into down the main straight, I think is probably the reason that Jim Brea then decides to put him into the wall there. So, you know, if you're going to play that rough, play that dirty, then you shouldn't be surprised when other drivers decide they're going to play rough style as well, and I think that's just a case of that. So he's picked up a half-second penalty over the course of that. I'm the red car that's just overtaken him as he serves that penalty, and this is going to be our first moment. Now that's 100% deliberate. Used our car as a brake, pushed us out the way, caused our car to ghost, and then drove through. So he was at least 5 to 6 car lengths behind me there into that braking zone. So we're in the slipstream here down into turn number 1. We're going to go for the overtake, as we should. We've got the inside line, we've got a little bit of overlap, we're going to brake a little bit later, and that should have been a nice move, but not for Demolition. He wants that position back, so he gives a little tap just to dislodge our car, then squeezes on the apex and puts us off the track. Not the best pleased with that one, definitely fair to say. So a little bit later on in lap 5, we've caught back up with Demolition. We're alongside him down into the hairpin, and yeah, I gave him a little bit of a tap there just to say, yeah, I'm not very happy with your driving. And I'm not going to lie here, my intention was just to run him wide here and make sure he couldn't come back, but he goes off the track. I think again deliberately just moves the car to the left hand side, clips our rear and spins us round. Well, that was my race pretty much ruined for a good result, but I did have one intention left for the rest of this race, and that was to catch up with Tony here, or Demolition, and yeah, maybe wield a little bit of revenge. So we joined Tony here as after he's made his pit stop, does his favourite move into the hairpin by just driving into the driver in front, using them as a little bit of a brake, pushing him out the way and making up position. Thankfully this time though, he has picked up a 3-second penalty. I was the car just in front there as well, so we've just went into the pits at the end of lap 8, I think that was, I can't quite remember. So we had a full pit stop behind Demolition here, so it's going to be a hard job for us to catch back up with him to maybe go for a little bit of revenge. Will we or won't we? That is the question. But he's battling with a fellow Italian here. Again, just look at these little taps on the rear of his fellow Italian's car into the hairpin, uses them for the block pass, runs him wide out onto the curb so he can't accelerate properly. The classic Tony building move for Deep Forest Raceway. And I don't know how many instances we're at up to now. Just these little touches again, you can just see he's deliberately creating these little touches with the other car just to try and upset their car. Now, I have a certain amount of admiration, to be fair, to Tony here. You know, you've got to appreciate a good craftsman at their job, and he's quite adept at the old little tap on somebody's rear end and just using them as a brake. He's not like a full-blown punt you out the way kind of driver. He just places his car in the right way, gives your car a little tap to upset it. And yeah, I can appreciate that he's actually quite good at his craft here of being a dirty driver. So coming into lap 13 now, coming through the first sector here, he's melvined these tyres. If you've watched the strategy guide or maybe even watched the live stream from last night, you know what a melvining your tyres is by now. And it definitely seems that he has melvined his tyres. Now we've caught back up to Tony here. We were a full pit stop behind him, remember, and he has been battling tooth and nail with his fellow Italian for a couple of laps. I've just been kind of sitting behind, minding my own business, just waiting to see what's eventually going to happen between these two. But as we come over at the start-finish line to start the last lap, I decide that I have seen enough of Tony, and it's time to teach Tony a little bit of a lesson. Oops, who was that? Tony is in the wall. Demolition is in the wall, and yes, that was me. And no, I don't feel bad about it at all. I've been the victim of this driver's dirty driving 3 times over the course of this race. I had seen him then exhibit that dirty behaviour numerous times on other drivers, and then when I watched the replay back, it turned out there was even more examples of his dirty driving. So yeah, Tony, consider this an intervention. Please change your ways, or you're just going to keep finding your races going the way this one is went, because Jim Brea put you in the wall. You've managed to get somebody as mild-mannered as me in a race to punt you off. You know, you can't be having fun, because this must be happening to you every race. So consider this an intervention, Tony, and change your ways. If you've enjoyed this video, folks, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching now. Goodbye.